Hi chemists, what we're going to do now is we're going to do the types of reactions lab. And there are a number of different types of reactions. We're going to look at 4 different types here. If we include the burning of the Bunsen burner, you're going to see 5 different types of reactions here. And I think this is kind of a fun thing to do. If you listen, I'm going to explain some things here, but the big thing is you're going to see examples of chemical reactions, and you're going to get some practice balancing equations, writing names, which we did last semester, and then deciding what type of reaction occurs. All right, so let's get started with the first one here. You get to see some different types of reactions. So let's start with the first one. If you go to the procedure on your lab, number 1 says that we're going to do a single replacement reaction. And we need to put, it says 5 milliliters, about an inch of copper 2 sulfate. That's copper 2 sulfate, and it's a lovely blue thing. Copper 2 sulfate is used to disinfect cuts. I saw this used in the veterinary shows. It's also used to kill algae in ponds. And this one hasn't been used in a while. It's leaking all over the place, but it'll be all right. All right, so you can see that this is just a lovely blue color here on that, and you can kind of see it against the background here, the white background. It's kind of dripping all over the place, and so we're going to put that back here in the test tube rack. And then also what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of zinc, and zinc is a gray metal. It's kind of dull right now. If it's fresh, it's shiny, but it's got a little oxide on the end of it, and so it's gray to begin with. And so what we're going to do with this is we're going to take that and we're going to put it in there. All right, now if we get up real close and we watch this, holy cow, are we going to be bored, because this is a really slow reaction. And actually, the reason why we're starting this is I'm hoping by the end of the class period that we're going to be able to see a difference in that piece of zinc and also in the solution, the blue copper 2 sulfate solution. So we're just going to let that sit for now. All right, you guys remember that from that lab that we did, or the first thing that we did, we put that chunk of zinc in the blue solution? Well, I let it wait overnight, and here's what we got. If you look closely at that chunk at the bottom has kind of an orangish color to it. It might be easier even to see from the bottom, but it's got kind of an orangish color to it. That's the copper that was there, and all the copper and the zinc have traded places. So now there is at least maybe a copper-coated chunk of zinc at the bottom of that, but all the blue, all the copper has gone out of solution. It went into the chunk at the bottom. And so you can see that there was a complete change. It took overnight to do it. It was slow, but that's what happened. All right, the second one we're going to do, you guys have actually seen before, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some hydrochloric acid. This is 6 molar, so it's pretty strong. And I'm going to put some of that in a test tube here. And then I have some zinc. And the zinc, I'm going to use a number of pieces for this, and I'm going to drop that in there, and we're going to get a reaction that's occur. The gas is going to produce as we're going to test the gas. Now, we're going to trap the gas. You guys have seen this before by putting a test tube over the top. And let's see if we can't pull that back just a little bit. Maybe tilt that up a hair so you can see it a little better here, maybe. All right, so I'm going to, when the gas is, I'm going to collect the gas in here, and then I'm going to test it by putting a burning wood splint in it. All right, the burning wood splint, one of 3 things is going to happen. When I put that burning wood splint in, it's going to pop. If it pops, that means there's hydrogen gas. If I put the burning wood splint in it and immediately goes out, that means there's carbon dioxide gas in there. And if I put the burning wood splint in it and it suddenly flares, that means there's oxygen gas in that. So I'm going to need a burning wood splint, so I'm going to light my Bunsen burner here. All right, I'm going to drop my zinc in here, and I need to be ready to start catching the gas immediately. And it is bubbling like crazy. So I'm going to let this bubble and bubble and bubble. And for about 1 or 2 minutes, that's a pretty violent reaction. If I touch the bottom of the test tube, it would be hot. We've done that before in here. It's continuing to bubble. All right, hopefully that goes long enough. I'm going to light my wood splint. Okay, so this my wood splint is burning. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that inside. And I got an explosion. And you guys heard that popping sound. So now you have an idea of what was going on there. All right, make sure you record what was going on. All right, I'm going to need a couple things here for the next part. So I need to look and see. All right, in number 3, I'm going to take the crucible tongs. These are called crucible tongs, and it's because of this little diamond shape in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of copper wire. Now, I don't know if you guys can see the copper wire plain enough, but the copper, it's coppery, kind of that reddish orange color, like a brand new penny would be, if you guys know what pennies are. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it in the crucible tongs like this, and I'm going to heat in the Bunsen burner flame. All right, so I put it in there, put it in the Bunsen burner flame, and it's almost immediately starting to turn bright red. If I hold it in there long enough, it'll actually start to melt. All right, that's probably long enough. And if I look at it, it isn't coppery colored anymore. Now the end is black. All right, what is that black stuff? That's a combination of the copper with oxygen from the atmosphere. So the heat actually allows oxygen to attach to the copper metal. All right, write down what you need to, pause if you need to. And the next step, what we're going to be doing is this is a ceramic dish, and it's for holding things that are really hot. I'm going to put it right here at the base of this thing. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to heat a piece of magnesium ribbon. You guys have seen this before. There's the magnesium ribbon, kind of gray and shiny. All right, there's my magnesium ribbon. I'm going to hold it in the hottest part of the flame. And if you were here, I would say don't look directly at it while it burns. And I'm going to hold it over the top of the evaporating dish, so in case it falls, I certainly don't want to catch it with my hand or let it hit the table. And then it goes out. And what's left is a white powdery stuff. And this white powdery stuff, it's all brittle. It's not the same anymore. That is magnesium combined with oxygen. All right, so we're going to set that to the side now. All right, we still need the Bunsen burner, so I'm going to get that on fire here again. Right here I have some copper 2 carbonate. Copper 2 carbonate is kind of a greenish blue, kind of a teal color. Well, I'm going to take a couple of heaping or micro spatulas of this and put it in a test tube. A little bit here. All right, so now that's That's sitting in the test tube. There's my greenish blue powder that's in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this in the Bunsen burner flame. All right. So I'm going to put it in the hottest part of the flame. I'm going to make sure that the neck of the test tube is pointing away from anybody who would be at my table. Since I'm here by myself, that's not so hard. And I'm going to heat it. And it's turning a dark color. Matter of fact, it's kind of turning black. All right, now remember the burning wood splint test? We're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to put a burning wood splint in this. If there's an explosion, that means it's hydrogen. If it goes out, that means the gas is carbon dioxide. And if it flares, that means there's oxygen being produced. So let's see what happens here. I take my burning wood splint, I put it in there, and it immediately goes out. That tells me what kind of gas is being produced there. All right, now we are on number 6, and number 6 says using a spot plate. Spot plate's got these little depressions in it, like that. And so what we're going to do, it says you're going to put 10 drops of zinc acetate. So there's my zinc acetate. I'm going to put 10 drops in the spot plate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 drops of that clear colorless liquid. And then I'm going to put 10 drops of sodium phosphate. So there's sodium phosphate. I'm going to put that in the same one. I put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that was a clear solution, but you can see that it produced a white solid. There's a white insoluble solid. In chemistry, we call that a precipitate that occurred, and so we got a reaction there. All right, we got one more to do, and this one needs me in this. So here is a test tube, and I'm going to put in that test tube, we're at number 7 now, about an inch of sodium sulfite, Na2SO3, and so I'm just going to put a good healthy squirt in there, about an inch of this stuff. And then it says you're going to add about 1 milliliter of the hydrochloric acid. All right, so let's get this thing pointed at me kind of here so you can kind of see what's going on. All right, so I'm going to put the hydrochloric acid in here, just a couple of squirts like that, and then it says immediately smell it. So I waft it. Oh, and one of the things, there's a very sharp kind of stinging odor that occurs to that. So you get kind of a sharp odor to that. All right, so write down what occurs. All right, you guys have seen all the examples of those things. So on the types of reactions, you have to balance those equations. You have to write the names of everything underneath it. If you listen to me, you have a really good idea. If you look in the lab, most of the names are in the lab itself, but you're going to have to figure out some of them. On the last page, 15 through 29, you have to answer some questions about hydrogen gas. And when that hydrogen gas burns in the lab, it combines with oxygen. And when we exploded that test tube, one of the things is it got all foggy on the inside. That's because there's water vapor in it. And then 18 through 29, you're going to type or balance those and tell what type of reaction that is. Good luck.